Every night, at exactly the same time, the man and his dog would leave the house. It didn't matter if it was cold, or raining, or quiet, or windy. They always walked together. The neighbors had gotten used to seeing them. A man in his late 30s, calm, quiet, always wearing the same jacket, and beside him, a dog, large, loyal, always walking just half a step behind. The dog's name was Shadow, and he never left his owner's side, not once. The man's name was Daniel. After a long day of work, that nightly walk was the one thing he never skipped. To anyone watching, it looked simple, just a routine, but to Shadow, it was everything, because every step they took together was time. Time spent with the one person he trusted more than anything. The path they walked wasn't long. It led through a quiet neighborhood, past a row of streetlights, then toward a small wooded area just outside town, a path not many people used at night. But Daniel liked the quiet, and Shadow didn't mind. As long as they were together, every night, the same route, the same rhythm, the same ending. They would return home, safe, together, until one night, they didn't. It started like any other evening. Daniel grabbed his jacket. Shadow stood up immediately, tail wagging, ready, waiting. They stepped outside. The air was colder than usual. A faint wind moved through the trees. The street was empty, quiet, too quiet, but nothing seemed wrong. They began walking, step by step, the familiar path. Streetlights flickering above, shadows stretching across the pavement. Shadow stayed close, watching, listening, sensing something. They reached the wooded path. The entrance was darker than usual. The light from the street barely reached inside. Daniel hesitated for a moment, just a second, then continued. Shadow followed. The sound of their footsteps softened on the dirt path. Leaves rustled underfoot. The wind moved through the trees. And for a moment, everything felt still. Then suddenly, Shadow stopped. His ears lifted, his body tensed. Daniel turned slightly. Shadow, he said. He stared into the darkness, deep into the trees, as if something was there, something they couldn't see. Daniel frowned. Come on, he said gently. Shadow hesitated, then slowly followed, but something had changed. His movements were cautious now, careful, alert. They continued deeper into the path, the darkness surrounding them, the sound of wind growing louder, then a noise, a faint sound, somewhere ahead. Daniel stopped. Hello, he called out. No answer, just silence. Then suddenly, Shadow barked, loud, sharp, unusual. Daniel had never heard him bark like that before. Hey, calm down, Daniel said. But Shadow didn't stop. He stepped forward, standing in front of Daniel, blocking him, growling softly. The tension in the air grew heavy. Daniel's heart began to beat faster. What is it? He whispered. Then, from the darkness, movement, a figure, stepping slowly into view. A man, hooded, silent, watching them. Daniel froze. Shadow stepped forward, protective, unmoving. The man didn't speak, didn't move closer, just stood there, watching. The moment stretched, uncomfortable, uncertain. Then, suddenly, the man turned and disappeared back into the trees. Just like that, gone. The forest fell silent again. Daniel exhaled, slowly. Okay? That was weird. He looked down at Shadow. The dog was still staring into the darkness, still tense, still alert. Shadow's alert, but something didn't feel right. The air felt heavier, the silence deeper. Halfway back, Daniel stopped. Shadow, no response. He turned around. The dog wasn't behind him. Shadow, nothing. Panic began to rise. Shadow. Daniel ran back down the path. calling his name, louder, faster, but the dog was gone, vanished into the darkness. Hours later, search teams were called. Neighbors joined. Flashlights scanned the woods. Voices echoed through the night, but there was no sign of Shadow. Daniel didn't sleep, didn't rest. He stayed outside, waiting, hoping. Morning came, still nothing. Day turned into night, and night into another day. People began to lose hope, but Daniel didn't. He returned to the same path every night, calling, waiting, listening for any sign, any sound. Then, on the third night, something happened. A bark, faint, distant. Daniel froze, then ran, following the sound, deeper into the woods. Branches hitting his arms, breath heavy, heart racing. The bark came again, closer this time. Then suddenly, he saw him, Shadow, standing near a fallen tree, his tail wagging, relieved, alive. Shadow, Daniel shouted. He ran forward, dropping to his knees, hugging the dog tightly. "You're okay, you're okay." But then Daniel noticed something. Shadow turned, looking behind the tree, as if trying to show him something. Daniel followed, and that's when he saw it. Another man, lying on the ground, unconscious, injured, barely breathing. Daniel froze. "Oh my God!" Shadow barked softly, as if to say, "This is why." Daniel immediately called for help. Within minutes, emergency services arrived. The man was rescued, taken to the hospital, and he survived. Later, they learned the truth. The man had been lost in the woods, injured, unable to move, and Shadow had stayed with him for 3 days, keeping him warm, protecting him, waiting until someone came. That night, back at home, Daniel sat beside Shadow, hand resting gently on his head. "You didn't leave," he whispered. "You stayed. To save someone." Shadow looked up at him, calm, loyal, silent. Because sometimes, when a dog disappears, it's not because he's lost. It's because someone else needs him more. And sometimes, the ones we think are gone are actually out there, saving a life.